Listen.
Who the hell is Bowsette, and why does the internet love them?
Okay.
So I would like to frame this conversation a little bit about what makes fan art important to fan culture and what makes something mimetic. Like, what is the genesis of a meme and how does that get adopted so quickly and then also subsequently fall off so fast?
So I think what has happened here is obviously people have latched onto something and made what I would deem a very randy or impure version of something that is historically known as pure. And by doing
This is our
this,
last live show.
wait.
We could say horny. That's fine.
fine, that's fine.
Okay, let me preface this by how this came about,
Yeah,
okay?
please do.
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's an artist on Twitter at AYYK92, aka Haniwa. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. My bad. I've only read it before. But she drew a little comic strip that depicts Peach in a wedding outfit denying both Bowser and Mario.
From the end of Odyssey.
Yes.
Spoilers. Sorry.
And so Bowser and Mario are sad, but then they find the super crown, which they showed off in the new Super Mario Bros. U version coming to Wii, that when Toadette puts it on, it turns
here's
her...
a cartoon that our live producers put together.
No, this is the original comic.
Yeah.
And
I don't like how Mario doesn't have eyes.
so it turns Toadette into Peachette. So Bowser puts it on
And he becomes Bowsette.
which, you know, the way that the names are put together doesn't make any sense, and it's wrong. Like,
Right.
it should be like Peacher or Peacha for like King
Yeah.
Koopa. But whatever, it's fine. Bowsette sounds better anyway. And so he becomes a version of Peach with a black dress and like armbands and a choker with like studs and horns. And it's a monster girl. And monster girls are popular, especially in Japan, for reasons.
Yes, for sex stuff.
But I think, honestly, the original comic strip is really funny.
It's
and
great.
There are a lot of wholesome comic strips that have come out as well, like with Bowsette talking to Bowser Jr., like making him feel like he has a mother figure and then going off to go find Bowser instead. And just, I don't know, I think it's cute. And basically, a lot of people saw this, loved the idea, started producing a ton of fan art, and everyone just started making a ton of Bowsette fan art.
I love that.
And I think one of the reasons like people are specifically locking into something like this is because it's using characters established in a sort of like E for all ages world, and it's using canonical
Items.
rules set by the creator of said characters, right? Nintendo's like, you can become a Peach if you get this crown, even though if you're a Toad. Weird week for Toad, by the way. And it's taking all of those things and it's combining them and then turning them into something that's sort of nefarious in some ways, but also that, you know, in a very slight way is annoying the people that run the social media for Nintendo. And
Yeah,
so that's
so bad.
so like a big part of a meme is that there's a 4% of it that is actively bothering somebody, not pissing them off, not hurting them, but like a mosquito in one's ear. And it's just sort of like, you know, that like Nintendo's like, hey guys, we got some great new games coming out. And everyone's like, that's great. I want to see Toad in a diaper. And they're like, why? But why? Why are you doing that to us? And so this might die down, or it might not, because if you look at something like Isabelle in Animal Crossing, like that kind of took a life of its own too, where they made her.
I've seen some fan art of Isabelle that like makes me really upset.
Right,
So,
but they also
A lot of Nintendo fan art in general that upsets me greatly. Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, this is nothing new. for
There's
you.
actually a comic
This is your world,
specifically
man.
about that. It's Mario and Bowser looking at a computer, getting upset, and Sonic comes over. It's like, you haven't seen anything.
Right.
Yep.
I really like the Bowsette phenomenon. I think it's just cool, and a lot of cool communities have taken it over and made it their own. The one thing that I'm sort of most fascinated by, and the reason it's really like a hilarious Bowsette as a character is so funny but cool to me, is I think the Super Crown is the first time in Mario canon or lore that there's an item that turns a like individual character into another individual character.
Right.
Mario transforms into things, but this is the first time that Toadette, a named person, has turned into Peach, a different human being.
Right. All together.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we are decades deep in the lore here, and none of this makes sense.
Right, but
Like
it's
this is about like an Italian guy that's like cleaning toilets and falls in, I think, and then shows up in a magical land where if he eats mushrooms, which canonically, if you read the original instruction manual, are the dead souls of toads or trapped souls of toads.
That's absolutely true. That's 100% true.
Breaking the blocks.
Yeah.
That's like there's toads trapped inside those blocks. And then he eats a mushroom and he gets large and can shoot fire and stuff like that. None of it makes sense. But we're at a point now where it's like if you eat this certain thing, you become an adult woman, and it's like we're losing the thread here.
But other people have picked up the Super Crown stuff too. You see Pokemon turned into Peach. I saw on the Rainbow Six Siege subreddit, there's a character named Thermite, and people have made Thermet. It has just gone out.
And
of
so
it's awesome.
It's just been memeception at this point. Like so there's also like Chompet and Bouette.
Right.
And they're great.
They got Chompet. Someone put Chompet, Bouette, and Bowsette as the big three in a comic panel from My Hero Academia, which is like a new like 3 characters that was introduced in that anime, and it's just becoming ridiculous. It's all over the place. I kind of like it.
I love it.
The thing that I'm getting a lot of comments in the IGN chat that are like, wow, it must be a slow news week if you guys are talking about Bowsette.
It is trending. It's trending on Japanese Twitter. That is big.
And I think that it's important to talk about things that capture the cultural zeitgeist in this way, right? Because like Casey said, there are so many people creating different variations of this, and the meme has so far extended past the idea of like, oh, what if Bowser was a girl? Like, it's really, really cool to see all these different interpretations. And more importantly than that, it's so awesome that all these artists that you wouldn't know get to flex a little muscle and show like, hey, I drew this and it's awesome. Like the Chompette that you mentioned is like my favorite one because that looks straight out of like almost like Mega Man Legends or something.
And
like, all these different styles, all these different interpretations. It's really cool, and it's only happening right now.
Right.
And in a year from now, Brian and I were talking about this at lunch. We'll be on this panel again and be like, remember when Bowsette was a thing?
That's the thing, right? It could go either way. People could latch onto it. But the reason specifically to add an extra layer to that this is really interesting is that this is the year Nintendo is launching fan service the game in December.
Yeah.
Like this December. Sorry for touching your water. In December, they're going to be like, hey, you love all those favorite things from your history of being a Nintendo fan? Here they are. And everyone's like, what about Luigi? We made him a meme. Let's force meme him into this game. And so between that and like Diaper Toad from earlier in the year and Bowsette, like this stuff is crossing the line between like this is part of the lore, this is part of the history, and now we demand it in Smash.
Here we go.